with you about many topics which is really very important for your upcoming UGC NET June 2025 exam. It is our recall session number 3, and you all know that it is called as a recall session by NETSHALA. Okay, আজকে রিকল সেশন শুরু করার আগে আমি তোমাদের একটা ইনফরমেশন দিতে চাই। গতকাল থেকে শুরু হয়েছে যেটা ইউজিসি নেট যারা জুন 2024 ডিসেম্বর 2024 যারা কোয়ালিফাই করেছো তারা তাদের সার্টিফিকেট কিন্তু ইউ ক্যান ডাউনলোড অ্যান্ড ইউ ক্যান print your certificate. Okay, now the certificate actually is live. Okay, so this is the first information about you, and now I am ready to ask you the questions. Perhaps you are not ready to take the question. Okay, so please I will give you some times for তাড়াতাড়ি তোমরা রেডি হয়ে নাও এবং এখনই আমরা স্টার্ট করব। ওকে, so this is very important for all of us. You all know that today I am going to discuss about very important questions. আজকের আমরা যে আফটারনুনে যে সেশনটা করেছিলাম সেখানে we are talking about Shakespeare, about Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales and so on, etc., and some modernist writers, novelists, dramatists, etc., and etc. So today as actually I am going to share with the very important questions actually that I have collected. So now এখনই আমি শুরু করছি আমাদের সেই সেশনটা যেখানে আমরা এই বিষয়গুলো নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। লাইভ ক্লাসে তোমরা দেখতে পাবে যে কোন টপিকগুলোর উপরে আমি আলোচনা করছি, এবং অন্যান্য ভিডিওগুলোর মতো এই ভিডিওতে আমি একই কথা বলছি যে আমি আমার পার্সোনাল যে নোটস আছে সেগুলোকে ব্যবহার করছি এবং পার্সোনাল নোটসগুলো দেখেই তোমাদেরকে কোয়েশ্চেনগুলো করছি যাতে করে তোমরা একটাও প্রশ্ন মিস না করো। ওকে, কারণ দিস কোয়েশ্চেন উইল হেল্প ইউ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড অ্যাবাউট ইচ অ্যান্ড এভরিথিং, হাউ টাইপ অফ কোয়েশ্চেন উইল কাম ইন ইউর এক্সাম, অথবা কেমন করে তুমি এক্সামে এই প্রশ্নগুলো ফেস করবে, কোন ধরনের প্রশ্ন আসতে পারে, কোন হাউ হুইচ ইজ রিয়েলি very important topic, everything actually now I am discussing with you. So my first question, again I say this was my first question, just আমি বারবার যেমনটা বলে থাকি তেমনটা আজও বলছি যে আমি প্রথমে একটা প্রশ্ন দুবার রিপিট করব, ঠিক আছে? আমি রিপিট করছি কোয়েশ্চেনগুলোকে, দেন ইউ উইল answer me, because this question is really very important for your upcoming UGC NET June 2024-25 exam. Okay, and the আবারও বলছি মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট যে ইনফরমেশনটা রয়েছে, যারা তোমরা ডিসেম্বর 2024 নেট পরীক্ষা দিয়েছিলে এবং কোয়ালিফাই করেছিলে তাদের জন্য যে তাদের সার্টিফিকেট ইজ নাও লাইভ, সো ইউ ক্যান ডাউনলোড ইট। সো নাও মাই কোয়েশ্চেন ইজ this is the first question. I think are you ready? Okay, so my first question, howl, oh you are men of stones, had I your tongues and eyes, I'd use them so that heaven's walls should crack. Again I say, this was really very important question. I know when one is dead and when one lives, she is dead as earth. Who is the dead person mentioned in this passage? Again I say, howl, oh you are made of stones, had I your tongues and eyes. Okay, I know when one is dead and when one lives, he is dead as earth. Who is the dead person mentioned in this passage? Okay, just tell me the answer. Desdemona, Cordelia, Rosalind, Regan. Again I say Desdemona, Cordelia, Rosalind, Regan. I am just waiting for your answer. I will give you 10 seconds for answers. Okay, yes, the time is over and the answer is Cordelia. The answer is Cordelia. My next question, T.S. Eliot's middle name is, very important question. This is the silly questions, perhaps you think about that, but it is really very important. Okay, T.S. Eliot's middle name. Again I say T.S. Eliot's middle name is Stans, Stans, Stan, Stuart. Spelling. There is a spelling. Okay, spelling গুলো দেখো STURNS. First option STURNS Stans. Second option STERNS Stans. Third option STERN and fourth option STUART Stuart. Okay, middle name of T.S. Eliot. Just write down middle name of T.S. Eliot. Yes, Stans. Yes, Stans. The answer is Stans. Very good, very good. The answer is Stan. Sorry, Tatum Gaming. Answer Stan. STERN. Very good. But STERNS. You have missed S. Just write down S. Stans. My next question: who is the speaker of the following? Who is the speaker of the following? Of one whose hand, like the base Indian, threw a pearl away, richer than all his tribe. Richer than all his tribe. First option King Richard II, second Cassius, third Othello, and fourth Hamlet. Of one whose hand, like the base Indian, threw a pearl away, richer than all his tribe. Okay, King Richard III, Cassius, Othello, Hamlet. No, the second option is not right. Tatum Gaming. Second option is not right. The right option Othello. Othello. Third option. Option number third. My next question. G.B. Shaw. G.B. Shaw received Nobel Prize. Again I say G.B. Shaw received Nobel Prize in 1923. Option number second 1932. Option number third 1925 and fourth 1936. 1923, 32, 25, 36. G.B. Shaw received Nobel Prize. I am just waiting for your answer. No. I will give you 10 seconds. No. No, 32 is not right answer. Right answer 1925. 1925. G.B. Shaw. I will discuss with you all Nobel Prize awardee writer who are most important. Who is the speaker of the following? My question: who is the speaker of the following? I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Again I say, I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Augustus Caesar, Mark Antony, Enobarbus, Cassius. Augustus Caesar, Mark Antony, Enobarbus, Cassius. I am just waiting for your answer. Augustus Caesar, Mark Antony, Enobarbus, Cassius. The answer is Mark Antony. The answer is Mark Antony. My next question: who was the first? Again I say, who was the first to use the term mimesis? Who was the first to use the term mimesis in connection with poetry? In connection with poetry. Plato, Aristotle, Longinus, Horace. Again I say, Plato, Aristotle, Longinus, Horace. Please give me the answer. I think the time is over and answer is very simple. Plato. Again I say Plato. Who is the speaker of the following utterance? Again I say, who is the speaker of the following utterance? Imperious Caesar did and turned to Clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Who said this line? Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Horatio. Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Horatio. I think the answer is very simple. I am just waiting for 10 seconds. The answer is Hamlet. My next question, Aristotle stressed that what should have unity of action? What should have unity of action? Character, thought, plot, diction. Again I say character, thought, plot, diction. I am waiting for your reply, then I will reply you. Aristotle stressed that what should have unity of action? What should have unity of action? Character, thought, plot, diction. Yes, the answer is very simple, plot. My next question. The best of Puritan attacks. Again I say the best of Puritan attacks is represented. The best of Puritan attacks is represented by Dash School of Abuse. Philip Sidney School of Abuse, John Milton School of Abuse, Longinus School of Abuse, or Stephen Gossun's. The best of Puritan attack is represented by the answer is very simple, Stephen Gossun's. Stephen Gossun School of Abuse. Again I say Stephen Gossun's School of Abuse. Who is known as father of English criticism? Again I say, who is known as father of English criticism? I am waiting for your reply. Just you have 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds you have to answer it. Who is known as father of English criticism? Again I say, who is known as father of English criticism? Plato, Socrates, Pope, Dryden. Plato, Socrates, Pope, Dryden. The answer is very simple, Dryden. Who is the speaker of the famous statement, O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Portia, Mark Antony, Rosalind, Cassius. Portia, Mark Antony, Rosalind, Cassius. I am waiting for your answer. Yes, the answer is very simple, Mark Antony. The answer is very simple, Mark Antony, who stands out prominently as a champion of liberal classism. Who stands out, again I say, who stands out prominently as a champion of liberal classism? Plato, Socrates, Pope, Dryden. Plato, Socrates, Pope, Dryden. I am waiting for you. You have only 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds you have to answer it. Okay, Plato, Socrates, Pope and Dryden. The answer is very simple, Dryden. Okay, my next question. Whose act is referred to by Mark Antony when he said this was the most unkindest cut of all? Again I say, whose act is referred to by Mark Antony when he said this was the most unkindest cut of all? Cinna, Cassius, Marcus, Brutus. Whose act is referred to by Mark Antony? He said this was the most unkindest cut of all. The answer is very simple, Brutus. Okay. My next question. Imagined communities. Imagined communities is a concept propounded by. Imagined communities. Again I say, imagined communities is a concept. Imagined communities is a concept propounded by Homike Bhava, Benedict Anderson, Partho Chatterjee, Aijaz Ahmed. Homike Bhava, Benedict Anderson, Partho Chatterjee, Aijaz Ahmed. I am waiting for your answer. You have just 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds you have to reply. After that I will reply. The answer is very simple. It is Benedict Anderson. My next question. The term dissemination. The term dissemination was coined by Jacques Derrida, Barbara Johnson, J. Hills Miller, Paul de Man. Again I say, the term dissemination was coined by Jacques Derrida, Barbara Johnson, J. Hills Miller, Paul de Man. The answer is very simple. The term dissemination was coined by Jacques Derrida. Who coined the term intentional fallacy and effective fallacy? Again I say, who coined the term intentional fallacy and effective fallacy? T.S. Eliot, William Emerson, W.K. Wimsatt, Cleanth Brooks. Very important questions for your upcoming UGC NET June 2025 exam. Please tell me the answer. Who coined the term intentional fallacy and effective fallacy? W.K. Wimsatt. My next question. Chaucer developed his Canterbury Tales. Chaucer developed his Canterbury Tales using a device called a fable, the frame story, monologue, poetic narrative. A fable, the frame story, monologue, poetic narrative. Please tell me the answer. I am waiting for your answer. Yes, the answer is very simple. The frame story. Again I say, the frame story. Okay. My next question. Who pointed out? Again I say, who pointed out criticism is as inevitable as breathing? Very important question. Repeated question. Who pointed out criticism is as inevitable as breathing? World famous line. Washington Alston, T.S. Eliot, Harold Painter, Wordsworth. Very important. I hope you all know the answer. T.S. Eliot. The answer is T.S. Eliot. My next question. Who among the following English playwrights scripted the film Shakespeare in Love? Harold Painter, Alan Bennett, Carol Churchill, Tom Stoppard. Harold Painter, Alan Bennett, Carol Churchill, Tom Stoppard. I'm just waiting for your answer. And the answer is Tom Stoppard. Again I say the answer is Tom Stoppard. Rosicrucian and Guildensteins are dead. Very, very important play you should keep in your mind. My next question, the phrase willing suspension of disbelief. The phrase willing suspension of disbelief was coined by Matthew Arnold, William Wordsworth, T.S. Eliot, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Willing suspension of disbelief. Who was coined the term? Sorry, this term was coined by whom? Matthew Arnold, William Wordsworth, T.S. Eliot, and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I think you all know the answer. Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Yes, S.T. Coleridge or Samuel Taylor Coleridge. My next question, who has remarked that Chaucer found English a dialect and left it a language? Who has remarked that Chaucer found English a dialect and left it a language? Legoias, Hardau, Lang, Lewis. Very, very important question. You should keep in your mind. Very, very important question and repeated question. Lewis, Lewis, Lowes, Lewis. My next question. The author of Nation and Narration. Again I say, the author of Nation and Narration is Edward Said, Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak, Franz Fanon, Homi K. Bhabha. Nation and Narration. Very, very important. Repeated question. I will give you 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds you have to reply. After that I will reply you. The answer is Homi K. Bhabha. Okay. My next question. Utopia is known by the name. Utopia is known by the name An Unknown Island, The Strange Country, The World of Imagination, The Kingdom of Nowhere. Utopia is known by the name An Unknown Island, The Strange Country, The World of Imagination, The Kingdom of Nowhere. The answer is, just waiting for your reply. The Kingdom of Nowhere. Again I say the Kingdom of Nowhere. Next question. Who coined the phrase Marlowe's mighty lines? Who coined the phrase Marlowe's mighty lines? Ben Jonson, Dr. Samuel Johnson, R.L. Stevenson, or Richard Steele? Who coined the phrase Marlowe's mighty lines? The answer is, I will give you 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds you have to reply me. Now the time is over and the answer is Ben Jonson. My next question. Provincializing Europe. Provincializing Europe is a concept propounded by. Provincializing Europe is a concept propounded by Edward Said, Paul Gilroy, Abdul Razzaq Gurnah, Dipesh Chakraborty. Provincializing Europe is a concept propounded by Dipesh Chakraborty. Most important. My next question. The line, poetry is a criticism of life. Again I say, poetry is a criticism of life. Occurs in. Poetry is a criticism of life, occurs in Culture and Anarchy, Modern Painters, The Study of Poetry, Risartos. The answer is very, very important, and the question is also very, very important. The line, poetry is a criticism of life, occurs in Culture and Anarchy, modern painters, the study of poetry, sarthos, risarthos. The answer is culture and anarchy. Yes, the answer is culture and anarchy. Dash is often labeled as the father of new criticism. That means who is often labeled as the father of the new criticism. Who is the father of new criticism? Have you any idea? I have given you 10 seconds. Please try. I.A. Richards, Alexander Pope, Alan Tate, Horace. New criticism, father of new criticism. I.A. Richards. The answer is I.A. Richards. My next question. The term gynocriticism. My next question. The term gynocriticism was coined by Betty Friedman, Alain Swelter, Lucy Irigegre, Susan Sontag. The answer is very simple. Alain Swelter. Caning is. My next question. Caning is literary device, poetic form, compound metaphor common to old Germanic poetry, stylistic device. Caning. Caning is compound metaphor common to old Germanic poetry. Okay. My next question. Aston is a character in Harold Pinter's very important question, a repeated question. Aston is, those are actually repeated question. If you look at previous year question, then you can definitely find out those questions, and those questions are really very important for your upcoming NET. Okay, so Aston is a character in Painters, that means Harold Painters. The birthday party, the caretaker, the dumb waiter, the homecoming. Aston is a character in Painters, the caretaker. Very important. The caretaker. Panopticism is the title of a chapter in well-known book by Roman Jacobson, Jacques Lacan, Michel Foucault, Jacques Derrida. Again I say, Panopticism is the title of a chapter in well-known book by Roman Jacobson, Jacques Lacan, Michel Foucault, Jacques Derrida. I am waiting for your reply, then I will reply. The answer is very simple. Panopticism is the title of a chapter in well-known book by Michel Foucault. My next question. Who is the second most frequently quoted writer in the Oxford Dictionary of Quotation after Shakespeare? Very important question. Who is the second most frequently quoted writer in the Oxford Dictionary of Quotation after William Shakespeare? I.A. Richards, Alexander Pope, Alan Tate, Horace. I.A. Richards, Pope, Alan Tate, Horace. Please reply me. I am just waiting for you 10 seconds. As I actually have given you 10 seconds, and within 10 seconds we have to answer. Okay, so the answer is very simple, and I hope you all know Pope. That means Alexander Pope, the rape of the lock, 1712, 1714, 1717. Most important, the term practical criticism is coined by. My next question. The term practical criticism is coined by. Practical criticism is coined by William Emerson, W.K. Wimsatt Jr., I.A. Richards, F.R. Lewis. I am just waiting for you 10 seconds. Now the time is over and the answer is I. Richards. My next question. In which of his essays does Homi Bhabha discuss the discovery of English in colonial India? The discovery of English in colonial India. Signs taken for wonders, mimicry, nation and narration, the commitment to theory. Signs taken for wonders, mimicry, nation and narration, the commitment to theory. The answer is nation and narration. আশা করি এই প্রত্যেকটা লাইভ ক্লাসের প্রশ্ন উত্তরগুলো তোমাদের সাহায্য করবে তোমাদের আপকামিং নেট এক্সামের প্রশ্ন কেমন হবে এইগুলোই হচ্ছে প্রিভিয়াস ইয়ারের রিপিটেড যে প্রশ্নগুলো রয়েছে সেই প্রশ্নগুলোই আমি তোমাদের সাথে ডিসকাস করছি। দিস ইজ আওয়ার রিকল সেশন। এখানে আমরা সমস্ত ধরনের প্রশ্ন সেগুলোকে আমরা আলোচনা করব, জেনারেল কোয়েশ্চেন আনসারগুলোকে আমরা আলোচনা করব। তাই আবারও বলছি কেউ মিস করবে না নেক্সট এর লাইভ ক্লাসে আসতে।